padami. Vandeham Sri Guru Shriyuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Dinamine Srivarshabhanavi Deve Daitaya Kripabde Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhurojvala Premadya Sri Rupanuga Bhaktida Sri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्ते दीनतारिणे रूपानुगविरुद्धापसिद्धान्तद्वान्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्लम्बरसाम्बोधे पादाम्बुजाय ते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते गौराविर्भावो मे स्वं निर्दिष्ट सज्जनप्रिय वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरवत्से नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमस्तुते जयतां सुरतो पङ्गोर्मन्दमतिर्गते मत्सर्वस्वपादाम्भोजो राधामदनमोहनो दिव्याद्वृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद्राधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवो पृष्ठालिपि सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भी वंशीवटतटस्थितः कर्षन्वेणुस्मनेर्गोपेर्गोपीनाथः श्रियत्सुनः तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So welcome all devotees for today's class where we'll complete the remaining slokas of the first chapter and we'll start with the second chapter, right? So before moving on to before we move on to the class, I just want to uh, uh, ask some questions from previous class. So what are the three reasons that we discussed? Totally there are 5 reasons. We have discussed 3 reasons for that Arjuna gave not to fight. So can somebody tell what is the first reason?
It is compassion, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, compassion. Yes. So compassion was the first reason. Can somebody elaborate what Arjuna meant with compassion, or what is compassion reason?
It was on the body. It was on the bodily level.
Yeah, bodily level. So Arjuna did not want to fight against his own relatives. So therefore he gave
Yes.
this reason that how can I fight against his relatives? Thank you, Mataji. Second reason. Second reason.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
The second reason was of the loss of enjoyment.
Yes. Can you elaborate,
enjoy,
Prabhuji? Loss of enjoyment.
yes, to enjoy the kingdom one after the war without the relatives and the gurus with him.
Yeah, what you have understood by the loss of enjoyment? Can you tell me what you understood, Prabhuji? क्या आपने समझा है? Can you tell me what you understood?
Prabhuji, if we want to enjoy the life, we need our relatives with us so that we can enjoy the material things with them. But after the war, there were no relatives, brothers, cousins, sisters with him because of war, so that he will not be able to enjoy this the material wealth.
Yeah. So Arjuna is saying that even if I win the war, even if I win the kingdom, even if I become the king, there will be no relatives to enjoy. So therefore, of this reason, if I don't want to kill them, therefore I don't want to fight the war. Yes, thank you. Third reason.
Prabhuji, fear of sinful reactions.
Yeah, fear of sinful reactions. Can you elaborate, Mataji, on this?
If he will kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and his friends, then he will get the sinful reactions because he's killing family people. That's right.
Yeah. But Prabhupada tells something in the purport. What Prabhupada refutes this argument, and what is Arjuna's this thing? Prabhupada tells something. Even though they are relatives, why they need to be killed? Somebody else.
Because
Because they are saintless people.
Sinless. Who are sinless?
Saintless.
Saintly.
Saintless people, Prabhuji. How to deal with them in
No,
like
no.
they are not.
No. Saintliness, how to deal with them? Saint, matlab, this is Arjuna's side. How I have to deal with them, saintliness. Reason, what Prabhupada there is in the purport, if you have read the purport, you will know the reason. What Prabhupada gives, that even though they are relatives, why they should be killed.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, is it
Yeah.
because they are the six types of aggressors and they
Yeah.
come under the six aggressors?
Yeah, 6 type of aggressors. Therefore, they need to be killed. But Arjuna is telling, Arjuna knows all these things, right? Arjuna knows that they all done all these things. Still, he is giving the argument that they are my relatives. Sin will overcome us. Sin will not overcome Arjuna because they are the 6 aggressors. They need to be killed, right? So these are the 3 reasons which we already discussed. One is first one is compassion on material grounds, giving the on material grounds, because Arjuna is thinking that how can I kill them, right? Out of compassion, therefore, he did not want to kill, he did not want to fight. Second reason was loss of enjoyment. If I kill my relatives, how will I be able to enjoy? And third reason is that sin will overcome me, right? That we have discussed till 38, verse number 38, right? So now we will move ahead with verse number 39, where Arjuna starts giving his fourth argument till 43, 39 to 43, and later 44, 45, 46, Arjuna tells that Arjuna is confused, so he tells that he will not be able to fight the war, right? So we'll start today's class. Yes. So chapter 1, Arjuna's fourth argument, destruction of family traditions. So the text that we'll be going through here is text number 1.39 to text number 1.43. And these arguments that Arjuna is giving is refuted by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 2.45, 46, and third chapter 24 sloka, right? Yes. So overview of the argument. So what is the essence of this argument is fighting will cause family destruction, right? So therefore, these are the 6-step sequence, right? So Arjuna tells that kulakshaya pranashanti kula dharma sanatana dharmai nashta kulam krishna adharma abhihoyate uta. That Arjuna is telling that in the previous sloka, that was 38 sloka, Arjuna is telling that the fighting will cause the destruction of family, right? Kula gets destroyed. That is what Arjuna tells in the 38th sloka. So in the 39th sloka, he continues with the theme, telling that if kulakshaya pranashanti, right? If the kula gets destroyed, kulakshaya pranashanti, kula dharma sanatana, right? So the kula dharma gets destroyed. Kula dharma sanatana, dharme nashta, the eternal family traditions get destroyed. If the kulakshaya pranashanti, kula means all the relatives or what is that, the elderly members, if they get destroyed, then what happens is the eternal family traditions get destroyed. Kula dharma sanatana, dharme nashta kulam krishna adharma abhibhavati uta. If the kula dharma gets destroyed, dharme nashta kulam krishna, if it gets destroyed, then the entire adharma abhibhavati uta, the entire family or the entire family members become involved in irreligion, right? So this is 38 sloka or 39 sloka. So what happens if by kula, if the kula gets destroyed, or the elderly members who actually protect the family traditions, if it gets destroyed, right? If they get destroyed, the elderly members, the father, grandfathers, and the uncles, if they get destroyed, what happens? The family traditions will stop, right? Kula dharma sanatana, dharme nashta kulam krishna. Then what will happen? This was 39 sloka. If the kula dharma gets destroyed, then the family becomes involved in irreligion. In next, he continues. If the family members become involved in irreligion, then what happens is the women of the family become polluted, right? Because if the family members, especially the men, become polluted, then what will happen is if their mind becomes polluted, if they become contaminated, then they will start contaminating women, right? So the women become polluted. Kulak striya pranashanti. He tells that the kulastriya, they get polluted, and if the kulastriya gets polluted, in text number 1.40 it tells it leads to Varna Sankara, right? And if there is unwanted progeny, if there are children who are born who don't know what to do, what are family traditions, because there is nobody to teach them, and already they are unwanted progeny born of unwanted men and unwanted women, then what happens is they don't know that they have to perform some rituals for the forefathers, right? So because of the destruction of family traditions, what will happen is one who destroys the family traditions and the family whose family traditions are destroyed, Arjuna tells in 1.41 that both of them will go to hell. That will lead to hellish life. And because of this, Arjuna tells in 1.42 that the culture is destroyed. The Kula Dharma and Jati Dharma. Arjuna tells that Kula Dharma, Prabhupada tells that Kula Dharma, Prabhupada tells is about cultural community projects. Kula Dharma and Jati Dharma both will be destroyed, and that destroys the culture. So this is how the sequence takes place. The Kula is destroyed, Kula Dharma becomes destroyed, the Kula Striya becomes polluted, that leads to Varna Sankara. Varna Sankara leads to what? Varna Sankara leads to Narakiva, that is both the families, one who destroys and one whose family is destroyed, both of them go to hell, and because of that the entire culture is destroyed. Yes, fighting destroys a whole dynasty, and because of which if the elderly members are destroyed, then what will happen is the family traditions will stop. With the destruction of the dynasty, the entire family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. And the women become polluted, right? So in the purport, Prabhupada is telling that when irreligion is prominent, the women in the family become polluted. Therefore, women need protection, right? So why do women need special protection? Because Prabhupada tells that they're less intelligent, they're not trustworthy, and they are prone to degradation, right? So therefore, Prabhupada tells, and even Chanakya Pandit tells that at every step, the woman needs to be protected. When the woman is small, she is protected by father. When the woman becomes the right age for marriage, she gets married. She is married with father. So, and when she is married, she is protected by the husband. And after when she becomes old, the husband dies or something like that, then the son protects her, right? So therefore, the woman in the three stages is protected either by father, husband, or son. So if they are not protected, then what will happen is it will lead to adultery and Varna Sankara. We can see in the present civilization, right? In Kali Yuga, what happens is the parents do not know what to do, right? So therefore, women are not protected. Therefore, there is so much of adultery and there is so much of Varna Sankara in the present civilization. Therefore, Arjuna is basically foreseeing that if this war happens, then what will happen is the elderly members will be destroyed, the family traditions will be destroyed, and the women will become polluted, right? So if the women become polluted, then what happens is Varna Sankara. That leads to unwanted progeny, right? So Varna Sankara basically means what? That there are some family traditions that whenever a child is born, right? Jata Karma, right? Then there is Garbhadana Sanskara. As soon as Garbhadana Sanskara, Janma Sanskara, and there are so many other of these traditions that generally in a cultured family, all these things happen. Presently, in most of the 99% of the families, most of these things don't happen, right? In our cases also, we don't know whether Garbhadana Sanskara happened, Jata Karma happened. Prabhupada tells this in terms of when he speaks about Krishna book, how during Krishna's birth, how all these processes took place, right? There is Namakarana Samskara. Then even in Prabhupada's case, we saw that how there is grains. As soon as the child becomes little big, then he is fed with grains. There is a ceremony like that. So there are so many ceremonies for a nice upbringing of a child, right? So if there is no Garbhadana Sanskara, if there is no Jata Karma, if there is no Namakarana Samskara, then what happens is the child's spiritual intelligence is not grown, right? The child is not given that samskara from the birth itself. So because of that, what happens is if Garbhadana Sanskara is not done, right, it means you are actually what is that? You are inviting a person with bad qualities. You are inviting a person into the womb of your wife or into the womb of the mother. The person is inviting actually a person with inauspicious qualities, a person with bad qualities, asura, right? So therefore, Garbhadana Sanskara or all these sanskaras that Prabhupada mentions or in his different books, Bhagavatam and all, is very, very important for a very saintly child to be born in the womb of the wife or a saintly child to be born, right? So therefore, these are all very important that Prabhupada also again and again stresses in the purports. So if those traditions are not followed, if the elderly members are killed, those traditions are not followed, women become polluted, and what will happen is it will lead to Varna Sankara. So Varna Sankara, what happens because of Varna Sankara? The present things what we are seeing. There is risk of war and pestilence, right? The present prime ministers, the present presidents, and present all the leaders are basically what they are Varna Sankara, because nothing of these family traditions or nothing of these sanskaras are followed while they were born and they have become leaders. So they are basically Shudras, less than Shudras, Paupatas, Chandalas, 10th class people. They are leading the government. So what they will do? On little provocation, they will drop bombs. On little provocation, without any valid reasons, they will start a war, right? We can see in the history also, in the history of the world, in the history, the present war that is happening. So without any reason, there will be wars, risk of war and pestilence. If there is no proper king, then what will happen is there will be drought, there will be heavy rains. So this will all cause to destruction of the world, right? And hellish life. This will lead to hellish life because ancestors fall down, because the Pinda Dana stops. That is done by the children or the grandchildren. If that is not done, then the ancestors will fall down. This is mentioned in 1.41. And if the family is destroyed, then what will happen? All community projects and family welfare acts stop. That is, this is 1.43, I think. That is Jati Dharma and Kula Dharma gets destroyed. Yes. So in 1.41, hellish life for family and destroys the family. The consequences described above culminate in hellish existence both for the family that is destroyed and for those responsible for its destruction. And because of this, what happens? The culture is destroyed. Yes. So therefore, what is the focus of learning here? The Varnashrama institution, principles of religious traditions that help members of the family grow and retain spiritual values. Therefore, the Varnashrama is very, very important. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, right? And elders are also required so that the religious traditions are nicely followed. And because of this, the family grows and the children are also given spiritual values. Therefore, elders are very, very important because they're responsible for maintaining purificatory samskaras from birth to death, right? Helping the younger generation on the path of salvation. We know that if the elders are not there in the family, then what happens is bringing a child becomes very, very difficult because the elders know what should be done at the right time, right? So therefore, that's very important that elders are present. But in the present divided families, right, the husband and wife stay at some place and their father, mother stay at some place. Sometimes the father and mother are sent to old age homes. So children don't know that they have their grandfathers and grandmothers, so they don't get those values. So we can just think that what kind of sanskaras the children get if the elder is not present. So therefore, good population, its importance and foundation. Importance of good population, it is a basic principle for peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress in life. And what good population depends on? Chastity and faithfulness of womanhood. Therefore, if good population is required, then the women should be very chaste and they should be faithful to the husband, right? So these all things should be taught from the beginning of life. And Pindadana, right? Prabhupada mentions it in 1.41 that if Pindadana is stopped, then the elders of the family will go to hell, right? So basis is based on the rules and regulations of Karma Kanda. So what it means to offer periodical food and water to the forefathers, generally during the on Amavasya, or generally during this, what is that? Just before Navratri, there is this
Pitrupaksha.
Pitra Paksha is there. So during that time, generally people go to Gaya to offer this Pindadana and all. So this is all very important for Varnashrama. If somebody is a Grahastha or somebody is a part of Varnashrama Dharma. For Brahmacharis and Sannyasis, this may not be valid, but at least for those who are Grahasthas, they need to follow all these things, right? So right process is worship of Vishnu is performed, remnants are offered to forefathers. Principle to release them from many sinful reactions and ghostly existence. Many times what happens is the forefathers, we do not know what kind of activities they are done. So they may be suffering in various hellish planets. So basically to release them from that particular condition, because we have got our bodies from our forefathers, right? So therefore it is our obligation that we need to perform this, right? So who is not obliged? One who is in devotional life, because Prabhupada says in the purport that as soon as one starts performing devotional activities, automatically they will be relieved, and they will be, their forefathers will be delivered from the sinful life. So why devotees are not exempt? Why devotees are exempt? Because devotional service relieves hundreds and thousands of forefathers from all misery. That is Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.41, right? So where Krishna, this is Uddhava Gita, where Krishna tells that if a devotee is there, so he is relieved from all these activities, because as soon as as soon as he becomes a devotee, then all his forefathers are delivered from the sinful reactions. Yeah, this is about Jati Dharma and Kula Dharma, community and family welfare acts. If there is Varna Sankara, if the family traditions are destroyed, then what will happen is all the community and family welfare acts are stopped. And if this community and family welfare acts are stopped, what will happen is it will lead to chaos in society, and people will forget the ultimate aim of life, that is Lord Vishnu. Yeah, we'll see this in the purport. So this completes the slides. We'll go to the purport. Yeah. So everybody is able to see this text 39.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So text number 39. So we'll start with text number 39. Kulakshaye pranashyanti kuladharma sanatana dharminashte kulam Krishna adharmo vibhavati uta. Right? So what Arjuna is telling, he is quoting, he is basically speaking to Krishna that he is giving the fourth argument. What is that? That if I fight, then what will happen is the elders of the family, my uncles, my grandfathers, my fathers, my teachers, all of them, my brothers, these are the elders of the family. They are the leaders of the family. So what happens if they get destroyed? Then what will happen is kulakshaye pranashyanti. What will happen? What will happen is kulakshaye means if the family is destroyed. Kulakshaye, right? If the family is destroyed, kulakshaye. If the family is destroyed, then what will happen is pranashyanti kula dharma sanatana. Kulakshaye. If the family elders of the family are destroyed, kulakshaye pranashyanti kula dharma sanatana. The eternal family traditions, kula dharma, will be destroyed. Pranashyanti kula dharma sanatana, right? So if the family is destroyed, if the elder members of the family are destroyed, then pranashyanti kula dharma sanatana, the eternal family traditions are destroyed. Okay? So dharme naste, if the eternal family traditions are destroyed, O Krishnam, if the entire family traditions are stopped, if they're destroyed, then what happens? Adharmo abhibhavati uta. Then what happens is the entire family, right? The entire family, or the kulam krishnam, entire family becomes involved in a religion. Adharmo abhibhavati uta. So if the family members are destroyed, what will happen is eternal family traditions are destroyed. If the eternal family traditions are destroyed, then what will happen is the whole family, kulam krishnam adharmo abhibhavati uta, the whole family becomes involved in a religion. Right? The translation: with the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family traditions is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in a religion. Yes, somebody can read the purport.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, shall I?
Yeah. Yes.
In the system of the Varnashrama institution, there are many principles of religious traditions to help members of the family grow properly and attain spiritual values. The elder members are responsible for such purifying processes in the family, beginning from birth to death. But on the death of the elder members, such family traditions of purification may stop, and the remaining younger family members may develop irreligious habits and thereby lose their chance for spiritual salvation. Therefore, for no purpose should the elder members of the family be slain.
Yes. So for no purpose or for no reason, the elder members of the family is slain. This is what Arjuna is giving argument, right? So he continues in text 40. Adharmabhibhavat Krishna pradushyanti kulastriyah strishu dushtashu varshneya jayate varna sankara. So Arjuna is telling that. So in the previous shloka, Arjuna told that the entire family becomes involved in religion, right? So he's telling that adharma bhibhavat Krishna, right? So if the family members become involved in religion, adharma bhibhavat Krishna, oh Krishna, pradushyanti kulastriya, what will happen? The kulastriya becomes polluted, right? Strishu dushtashu karshneya, if the family ladies, right? If the kulastriya become so polluted, strishu, if the family women or the women of the family become polluted, dushtashu, Varshneya, right? O descendant of Vrishni, Jayate Varna Sankara. Because then what will happen if the women become polluted? It will lead to Varna Sankara. Because if we want good population, the women should be chaste and they should be faithful. If the women become polluted, it will lead to Varna Sankara. Varna Sankara means unwanted population. Varna Sankara also means that children who are born without any sanskaras. There is no Garbhadana sanskara, there is no Jata karma, there is no Namakarana sanskara, there is no grain feeding ceremony, right? So there are so many sanskaras, right? The Prabhupada tells there are 8 to 9 or 9 to 10 sanskaras from birth to death, right? There is Vivaha sanskara, right? So all the sanskaras are there. There is Upanayana sanskara when a child becomes 5 years, 6 years, right? He is trained under Guru. Before that, he is given a Brahman thread, Upanayana sanskara, right? Then there is Vivaha sanskara. So all these things are the different sanskaras that needs to be performed for a child. If a child is born without these sanskaras, then he can also be called as a Varna Sankara, right? Varna Sankara. So when a religion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. Yes. Somebody can read the purport?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah, yes, please.
Okay. Good population in human society is the basic principle for peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress in life. The Varnashram religion's principles were so designed that the good population would prevail in society for a general spiritual progress of state and community. Such population depends on the chastity and faithfulness of its womanhood. As children are very prone to degradation. Both children and women require protection by the elder members of the family. By being engaged in various religious practice, women will not be misled into adultery. According to Chanakya Pandit, women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not trustworthy. So the different family traditions of religious activities should always engage them. And thus, their chastity and devotion will give birth to a good population eligible for participating in the Varnashram system. On the failure of such Varnashram dharma, naturally the woman becomes free a risk of unwanted population. Irresponsible men also provoke adultery in society, and thus unwanted children flood the human race at the risk of war and pestilence.
Yeah. So what is Prabhupada telling that? That on the failure of such Varnashram dharma, naturally the women become free to act and mix with women, and thus adultery is indulged in adultery is indulged in at the risk of unwanted population. So irresponsible men also provoke adultery in society, and thus unwanted children are born. Prabhupada is telling. Thus unwanted children are born in the society. So you can see that Prabhupada is very nicely explaining how the chastity and faithfulness of his women and how protection of women is very, very important if you want good population, right? So text number 41, Prabhupada, Arjuna further quotes that how this will lead to the destruction of the entire kula, right? So what will happen next? Shankaro naraka eva kula jnanam kulasya cha patanti pitaro hi yesham lupta pindodaka kriya. So what will happen is kulagnanam kulasya, right? If the family traditions are destroyed, then what will happen? Both kulagnanam, that is kulagnanam means one who destroys the family, and the kula itself, one whose family is destroyed, both of them will go to naraka eva, right? So kulagnanam kulasya naraka eva, and because of this sankaro, that is varna sankara, what happens is because of this, if they go to if the Varna Sankara is produced, what will happen is the forefathers, Patanti Pitrohi Esham. Pitaro means the forefathers will fall down. Forefathers will fall down. And why do they fall down? Because Lupta Pindodaka Kriya, because there is Varna Sankara. They don't know what needs to be done, what need not be done. And what are the family traditions that needs to be followed, that we need to give Pindadana and all these things that we need to follow, right? So they don't know all these things, right? Because they are ultimately Asuras. So because of that, what happened is, because of the stopping of this Pindodaka Kriya, what happens? The forefathers fall from their position and they go to hellish planets. They have to suffer in the hellish planets. Sankaro naraka eva kulagnanam kulasya cha patanti pitaro hi esham lupta pindodika kriyaha. Yeah, translation: an increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life, both from the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such cursed families fall down because the performances for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. Yes, purport.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, may I?
Yes, Mataji.
According to rules and regulations of routine activities, there is a need to offer periodical food and water to the forefathers of the family. This offering is performed by worship of Vishnu. Because of eating the remnants of food offered to Vishnu can deliver one from all kinds of sinful reactions. Sometimes the forefathers may be suffering from various types of sinful reactions, and sometimes some of them cannot even acquire a gross material body and are forced to remain in the subtle bodies as ghosts. Thus, when remnants of prasadam food are offered to forefathers by descendants, the forefathers are released from ghostly or other kinds of miserable life. Such help rendered to the forefathers in a family tradition, and those who are not in a devotional life are required to perform such rituals. One who is engaged in the devotional life is not required to perform such actions. Simply by performing devotional service, one can deliver hundreds and thousands of forefathers from kinds of misery. It is stated in Bhagavatam 11.5.41, Devarshi bhutan patandrinam pitrinam na kinkaro nayam ranicharajan sarvatmana yasva sharanam sharanyam gato mukundam pariharitya kartam. Anyone who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, the giver of liberation, giving up all kinds of obligations and has taken to the path of all seriousness, owes neither duties nor obligations to the demigods, sages, general living entities, family members, humankinds, or forefathers. Such obligations are automatically fulfilled by performance of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yes, such obligations are automatically fulfilled with the performance of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? So this was Prabhupada explained about Pindodaka Kriya and how devotees are exempt from doing that, right? So this was text 41. Further, Arjuna elaborates in text 42 how this will destroy the family projects, or this will destroy the entire family, right? So dosherete kulagnanam varna sankara karakai utsadyante jati dharma kula dharmascha shashvata. So Arjuna is telling here that jati dharma and kula dharma, right? The dharma of the kula and the community welfare projects all will get destroyed by the destruction of the family and because of the production of Varna Shankara, right? So what is the translation here? By the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, what happens? All kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. That is, Jati Dharma and Kula Dharma are destroyed. Arjuna tells, right? Purport: community projects for the four orders of human society combined with family welfare activities as are set forth by the institution of Sanatana Dharma or Varnashrama Dharma are designed to enable the human being to attain his ultimate salvation. Therefore, the breaking of the Sanatana Dharma tradition by irresponsible leaders of society brings about chaos in that society, and consequently people forget the aim of life, that is Lord Vishnu. Such leaders are called blind, and persons who follow such leaders are sure to be led into chaos, right? So Jati Dharma and Kula Dharma get destroyed because of the production of Varna Sankara and the destruction of family traditions. That is what Arjuna is saying in 42. We'll move on to text 43. Utsanna Kula Dharmana Manushyanam Janadana Narake Niyatam Vaso Bhavati Iti Anushruma. So Arjuna is saying that I have heard from the disciplic succession that because of the destruction of family traditions, what will happen is that the family members or the elders of the family will go to hell. They have to reside in hell, right? O Krishna, maintainer of people, I heard by disciplic succession in that those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell always in hell. Yes, somebody can read this purport of 1.43.
Krishna, Prabhu, can I, Prabhu?
Yes, somebody can raise hand. I hear many voices. Please raise your hand. Yes, Sundari Proof. Sundari Proof. Yeah.
Arjuna bases his argument not on his own personal experience but on what he has heard from the authorities. That is the way of receiving real knowledge. One cannot reach the real point of factual knowledge without being helped by the right person who is already established in that knowledge. There is a system in the Varnashrama institution by which before death one has to undergo the process of atonement for his sinful activities. One who is always engaged in the sinful activity must utilize the process of atonement called the prayaschitta. Without doing so, one surely will be transferred to hellish planet to undergo miserable life as the result of sinful activities.
Yeah, therefore, prayaschitta is very, very important. And all these prayaschitta, if somebody is very cultured, these all these things will be known to the elders of the family. And that is what is taught to when a child is born, right? So throughout his life, the elders of the family, either the father, the forefathers, because in the family tradition, all these things comes, right? If some mistake happens, what is the prayaschitta that needs to be done, right? So, if the elders are not there, if the kula is destroyed, the elderly members of the family are destroyed, then what will happen is the the further generation does not know all these things, right? So, because of that, what happens is the elders also go to hell, right? And the future members will also go to hell. That is what is Arjuna's fear. Therefore, he does not want to fight. Now, Arjuna finally speaks in 44, right? 45 and 46 that because of these reasons, right, I do not want to fight, right? So Arjuna is giving his speaking these last three slokas in this particular chapter, and finally it tells that I don't want to fight. अहोबत महत्पापं कर्तुं व्यवसिता वयं यद्राज्य सुखलोभेन हन्तुं स्वजनम उद्यता. So what is Arjuna telling that yadrajya sukham lovena, right? So with the desire to win the kingdom, rajya sukha lovena, with the desire to win the kingdom, with the greed, lovena means with the greed to enjoy this kingdom, rajya sukha. What is happening is, oh, what we are doing, aho bata mahat papam, we are both of the Kuru dynasty and the Pandu dynasty, or both the Kauravas and the Pandavas, what they are going to do, aho bata mahat papam, we are going to do a great sin, mahat papam, a very, very big sin, right? Kartum vyavasita vayam, right? We are planning to do a great sin because of a desire, greed to enjoy Rajya Sukha, right? Aho bata mahat papam, we are planning kartum vyavasita vayam, we are planning to do a great sinful activity because of a desire to enjoy, or because of a greed to enjoy Rajya Sukha. So how we are going to do that? In that process, what we are going to do? Hantum swajanam udyata, right? So why this is a mahat papam? Because we are planning to kill our own relatives, right? So alas, how strange is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts. Driven by the desire to enjoy our happiness, we are intent on killing our own kingsmen, right? Yes, purport.
Driven by self motives, one may be inclined to such sinful acts as the killing of one's own brother, father, or mother. There are many such instances in the history of the world, but Arjuna, being a saintly devotee of the Lord, is always conscious of moral principle and therefore takes care to avoid such activities.
Yeah, so Arjuna, being a saintly devotee, is taking care to avoid such activities, because nowadays we are also aware in our surroundings, right, where we are born or something like that. We know stories of how a brother has killed his own brother, right? A brother has killed his own mother. Son has killed his own father. Father has killed his own son, right? So killing of relatives, we have seen many times in the history or in our own surroundings, right? This is all common. Why it is common? Because people are driven by selfish motives. Because people are driven by selfish motives, therefore they don't what is that? They don't fear killing anybody, right? They don't even fear of killing one's own brother, father, or mother. But Arjuna, being a saintly devotee, even though there are valid reasons, he is a saintly devotee, he is conscious of moral principles, therefore, he is thinking that whether what I am going to do, or whether what we are going to do, whether this is valid or not, right? So, therefore, he is giving these reasons and he wants to clarify it with Krishna. Text number 45. Yadi mama pratikaram asastram shastrapanaya Dhatrashtra rane hanyus tanme kshemataram bhavet. So what Arjuna is telling that apratikaram ashastram, right? So what he's telling that even if because of all these things that whatever I've stated, I am ready to be killed on the battlefield, Rane, Hanyus, that is, I am ready to be killed on the battlefield by whom? By the sons of Dhritarashtra. How? Apratikaram, right? I don't want to what is that? I don't want to resist. Even if they are ready to kill me, I don't want to resist it. And ashastram, I will give away my arms without any arms, right? And without any resistance, right? I will not hold any arms and I will not resist. I will not tell them, don't kill me, or I will not fight. I will not resist it. Let them kill me. That is better. Tanme kshemataram bhavet. It would be better for me to be killed without any resistance and without any arms in my hand by the sons of Dhritarashtra on this battlefield. This is much better than that the entire family getting destroyed, the brothers, sons, right, my grandfathers, I kill them and I win the kingdom. Better than that is what? I let me be killed without any resistance and without any weapons in my hand. That is what Arjuna is telling. Translation. Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. Yes, somebody else can read the purport.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Can I, Prabhu?
Yes. Prabhu.
It is the custom, according to Kshatriya fighting principles, that an unarmed and unwilling foe should not be attacked. Arjuna, however, decided that even if attacked by the enemy in such an awkward position, he would not fight. He did not consider how much the other party was bent upon fighting. All these symptoms are due to soft-heartedness resulting from his being a great devotee of the Lord.
Yes. So, result of being great devotee of the Lord. So, this Arjuna's soft-heartedness is spoken in this thing. Yes. You're able to see this? Hare Krishna?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So Arjuna's again and again in Prabhupada is speaking in 44th verse and 45th verse about the soft-heartedness of Arjuna. So Arjuna's saintliness is revealed in 1.28 to 1.46. It's just a summary that because this conclusion here, last if you see in conclusion in 1.46, such a kind and soft-hearted person is fit to receive self-knowledge. That Prabhupada is telling this about Arjuna, right? So therefore, we will see the summary. Arjuna's saintliness is revealed by the following points. First one is in 1.28, his soft-heartedness is revealed, and in verse number 1.35, does not want to kill even for exchange of the three worlds. We already seen this in loss of enjoyment. Ready to forgive any aggressor, 1.36. Right, in 37 and 38, considers evil consequences even at the risk of refusing obligation to fight. Because the Kshatriya, he is not supposed to refuse the obligation to fight, but he is ready to give up that also. Right, in 1.39 and 44, Arjuna is conscious of obligations to protect family traditions and morals. Right, so he does not think that I am transcendental and I have no obligations. Arjuna, being saintly, is conscious of moral principles, how he can kill one's relatives based on selfish motives. That is what is speaking in 1.44. And is ready to be killed unarmed but not retaliate. 1.45. Custom, according to Kshatriya fighting principles, unarmed and unwilling foe should not be attacked. These symptoms are due to soft-heartedness resulting from being a great devotee. And because of that, lastly, what Arjuna did is he kept his bow down, even broke his bow of not keeping the bow once lifted. So this shows that Arjuna is soft-hearted, and such a kind and soft-hearted person is fit to receive self-knowledge. That is what Prabhupada will conclude in the next purport, 1.46. Sanjay Uvacha. So finally Sanjay, because there's a narration between Sanjay, or a dialogue that is going on between Sanjay and Dhritarashtra. That is what we are reading. So finally Sanjay tells at the end of the 46th sloka, what is saying? Sanjay Uvacha evam uktva Arjuna sanke ratopastaupavishat visrijya sasaram chapam shoka samvigna manasa. So what Sanjay is telling that, like this, evam uktva Arjuna, on the battlefield, right? So speaking like this, what Arjuna did, Ratopasta Upavishat, what he did is, he is standing on the chariot now. He Ratopasta, he immediately sat down on the chariot. Vishrija Sasaram Chapam. So Arjuna spoke these words in the battlefield. He's standing on the Ratha. Now what happened is, he sat down. Upavishat, right? Ratopasta Upavishat. So he sat down on the chariot, right? Sat down on the chariot. Visrijya sasaram chapam. What happened? He kept his bow and arrow. Visrijya sasaram chapam, right? Saram and chapam. Chapam means bow and saram means arrows. Both the queer of bows and the arrow, the bow and arrow, right? Basically, the queer of arrows and the bow he kept aside. Arjuna had taken a vow that he will not keep it aside. But now, out of this soft-heartedness, or due to that, what happened is, because of his various reasons, he kept it aside, and so shoka samvigna manasa, he became bewildered, he became distressed, and distress has overtaken his mind. Soka samvigna manasa, he is overwhelmed by lamentation, he is overwhelmed by distress. Soka samvigna manasa. Shoka means lamentation and samvigna means distress. So his mind has become overcome by distress and lamentation. Sanjay said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief by lamentation and distress. Yes, purport?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
While observing the situation of his enemy, Arjuna stood up on the chariot, but he was so afflicted with lamentation that he sat down again, setting aside his bow and arrows. Such a kind and soft-hearted person in the devotional service of the Lord is fit to receive self-knowledge. Thus, the end the Bhaktivedanta purports on the first chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra.
Yes. So this completes the first chapter. So in the first chapter, we have discussed how initially Dhritarashtra raised the question that to Sanjaya, that what did my both the Kauravas and the Pandavas, what they are going to do, right? And Sanjaya answered what Duryodhana did about how he is a very great politician. That is what Prabhupada explains further. We saw how the war started, how both the armies blew the conch shells. We also saw details about that. And finally, we saw how the Arjuna starts his reasons. Arjuna starts giving reasons why not to fight, right? So we have seen all these things, and how we also seen how Prabhupada glorifies Arjuna as being soft-hearted, a saintly person. At the same time, Prabhupada also tells that these all reasons were based on bodily platform, or this also shows the weak-heartedness of Arjuna. So these things we have discussed in the first chapter. If anybody has any questions of what we have discussed in the today's section, right? If anybody has, yeah, Sundari, you can ask.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, can you explain further, Prabhuji, like what is the exactly meaning of applying Varnashram in the context of our present day ISKCON society?
Varnashrama, a very great topic where very contradictory topic where it is very difficult to explain all these things. Simple is that at least if a grahastha is there, that he should at least learn what are the for a child to be brought up, what are the family traditions that one needs to do. That is Garbhadana, samskara, all the 10 samskaras that we discussed. So at least we should learn it and we should follow it in our life. Also, second thing is we should also as soon as Varnashrama comes into effect, there is this, what is that? As soon as we speak of Varnashrama, we also need to know what is, we are already into Grahasthashrama, what is my Varna, how I should, what is that, how I should go ahead in my life, right? So because there is Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyas. So Varnashrama means gradually I plan my life step by step, that for how long I should work, right? Because I need to work, I am a Grahastha, I need to work, I need to take care of my livelihood. So there should be a plan that I get married, till this time I'll work, and afterwards I'll give up my work and fully dedicate my life in the service of Krishna, right? That is, our ISKCON society is there. So we need responsible vanaprasthas to run the society. So therefore, we should also plan our life in such a way that I don't plan to work throughout my life, right? So at certain point of life, I should stop working a job, quit the job, and start serving in the temple, right? So these are some practical applications that we can, right, apply in our life, plan a life for our children, so that our life becomes peaceful and smooth. And for this planning, whatever things are required for the planning, something like astrology and all these things, we can take help of that, because these are all Vedic sciences, and we can take help of these things so that we can plan our life nicely. Is this clear, bro?
Prabhuji, one more follow-up question.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, like, how will our Varna will decided, Prabhuji? Who will decide, and exactly who will decide what our Varna is, and can we change the Varnas? Like, is it allowed? And in present day ISKCON, Prabhuji, every initiated devotee is Brahmana only. So how to understand?
See, just by initiation, one does not become Brahmana. It is, Krishna tells, guna karma vibhagasha, right? We have taken birth in a particular family, right? And by our activities, it becomes decided, right? So, Brahminical means everybody, one who has taken second initiation, he can perform worship of the deities, but it's not that actually, according to our chart, if we see our chart, then yeah, if there is expert astrologer, he immediately comes to know what is our Varna, right? What occupation we should take up, and based on the chart, what occupation we should take up, what we should do, so that easily we can peacefully earn money. So this is something which is Varna, right? Varna means, consider that somebody is a Brahmana. Brahmana means, as soon as he is a Brahmana, it implies that he has very good knowledge of the Shastras. He has lot of, even though he's working, see, even in Grahasthas, there are many people. You can see Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. There are Grahasthas who are working outside, but still they have a taste for Shastras. They have a taste for learning Yagya. They have a taste, that is Yajan, Yajan, Patan, Patan, Dana, Pratigriha. These are 6 principles that Prabhupada tells. So if somebody has a taste for this, then he is a Brahmana. Then there is Kshatriya. Kshatriya means administration. He likes to do administration. He likes to protect, and he likes to, what is that, reform things in the society. He wants to, if he is little warm blooded, means he is not like ठीक है कुछ भी चलेगा नहीं, he wants to reform things. If somebody wants to reform things in the administration, in the management, it means that he has Kshatriya qualities, right? Then Vaishya means paisa, right? It means that if somebody is very good at earning money, very good at investing money, very good at taking care of cows, agriculture, right? Then he can be called as a Vaishya. And a Shudra means none of the above qualities are there. He is very a faithful, humble servant, right? He is ready to serve the Brahmana, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmana, Vaishya, Kshatriyas, then he can be called as a Shudra. And if somebody is intelligent, he can also observe his life. That if you can understand by observing your own life that whether I'm a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra. These are the basic guidelines for observing ourselves. We can consult our Guru, because Guru means our spiritual master. Initiating spiritual master is anyway is not in personal touch with us. So whoever our superiors are there, maybe our counselors who have seen us from beginning of our life. Somebody is there who has seen us from the beginning of life, and he knows that yes, this person will fit for this particular thing, right? Like that kind of senior, or by somebody is an expert astrologer, by he seeing your chart also, he can also tell that what Varna you can fit into. And we need not consider that there is I am supposed to be meant as a Brahmana, but I'm working in a software company. So we need not immediately change it. But as I told, we need to plan our life eventually, so that we can be more in the mode of goodness. We can cultivate in the mode of goodness, and we can lead our life peacefully. It need not be shifted immediately. It can be gradually planned, so that we can, whatever Varna and Ashrama is there, we can nicely progress. Is this clear, too?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Yes, Satyavrat Prabhu.
Prabhu, in 43 it is said like there is a system in Varnashram institution by which before death one has to go the process of atonement for his sinful activities. So, like, what atonements it is speaking here? That's
Atonements, there are many atonements. Like, consider that your there is even in case of Tulsi Maharani, this thing, na, yani kani cha
yeah,
papa.
that is
So like this, there are many atonements, right? Consider that you are not, what is that? You are not performed this. Consider your forefathers in your family. The performance of Pinda Dana was stopped, right? So now, because of that, what will happen is you will see in your life there will be a lot of chaos. So now atonement for that is what? You need to again restart it back. You understood? Consider that you have done a sinful activity, right? So you have done some sinful activity. So for atoning that particular sinful activity, there are certain rules and regulations also. Like this, in the scriptures, there are many rules and regulations. Like for us, what happens is we worship Tulsi Maharani, we worship the deities, right? We chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So these are atonements that are for us devotees. Consider that we have done some sinful activity, we have broken some of the principles, then for us what is there, that we need to chant more, right? We need to what is that, give charity, right? We read Bhagavatam. For us atonement means what? Chanting more, right? Taking darshan of the Lord, going to temple, sitting in Bhagavatam, taking association of devotees, right? Worshipping the deities. So these are atonements for us. But for karma kandas, there are many atonements. Like there is Ashwamedha Yajna, there is what is that? There is Sudarshana Homa. There are many things like this, right? For karma kandas that is mentioned, that is Homa, Havana, Yajna. All these things are mentioned, which may not be so relevant for Kali Yuga, because for Kali Yuga the only Yajna which will fructify is the Harinam Sankirtan Yajna, or the Sankirtan movement that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started. So like this, there are many rules and regulations in Karma Kandiya, worshipping of different demigods, worshipping of Lord Shiva, Lord Durga, Durga Devi, worshipping of Ganesha, and all these things are mentioned, which are atonement for different sinful activities, which may not be very relevant for a devotee who is practicing Krishna consciousness.
Okay.
Is this clear, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Abhishek, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, like in many lectures, I heard many lectures of Prabhupada, Prabhuji. Like Prabhupada usually mention one who chants, one who starts to chant Hare Krishna mantra, like he will become Vaishnava. He is more than Brahmana and all those things, Prabhuji. Like being a devotee, Prabhuji, we need to how much we need to concentrate on this Varnashrama Dharma and all those things, Prabhuji. Like many times, Prabhuji, even Bhagavad Gita purport also, I read one time this Prabhupada purport, Prabhuji. Like one who starts doing the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, he will become more than Brahmana. Yes, Prabhuji.
Chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra means Shuddha Naam. So how many of us are chanting Shuddha Naam?
We are trying, Prabhuji, but still Namaprada is getting happening.
Are we chanting Shuddha Naam?
No, Prabhuji. Like still Namaprada is getting happening, Prabhuji.
Yes. Understood?
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So, as long as we are not on the platform of a pure devotee, whatever is mentioned in the scriptures, if that was so, why Prabhupada would have told that 50% of our work is still remaining? Has Prabhupada not told this? As Prabhupada has clearly mentioned that by 50% of my work is remaining. Why Prabhupada has told this? Because in Kali Yuga, even though Prabhupada has given everything for us to become pure devotee, still we are reluctant to become a pure devotee. We don't have a 100% desire to become a pure devotee. Therefore, Prabhupada told that Varnashrama has to be established. Because without that, people will fall down from the positions. They may be chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, they may be initiated, they may be second initiated, but they will fall down from their positions, and we have seen this in the history of ISKCON. Therefore, if we want to protect our devotees, Varnashrama institution has to be established. May not be the full-blown farm communities, Varnashrama may not be, but at least some work has to be done in that particular regard. So therefore, whatever Vedic sciences are there or whatever Vedic culture is there, we cannot give it up in the name of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We need to spend time to perform, if consider that a child is born, right? So those principles need to be followed, whatever is there mentioned in scriptures for that. Garbhadana Sanskara. Prabhupada has told, Garbhadana Sanskara means what? A person, husband and wife should chant 50 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. They should take permission from the spiritual master, and after that perform the Garbhadana Sanskara. So if this was not required, right, Prabhupada has told that Anyway, we're chanting 16 rounds. Why there is separate arrangement for this? Because all these things are very, very important. Is this clear, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, clear.
Yes, thank you. Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Actually, I have a follow-up question what Satya Prabhu asked. Prabhuji, as Prabhupada explained here, that system of atonement, right? The Prayashchitta. But as we know, we studied in Upadeshamrita also, the atonement Prayashchitta is not a foolproof process now, because one can commit on the sinful activities on the strength of holy name also. Then why Prabhupada is mentioning here, is he expressing the mind of Arjuna, what Arjuna is feeling at that time? What's
Yes, yes. As I told that for devotees, the atonement is very simple. We will not go for searching for what is a prayaschitta. For us, it is very simple. Chanting Hare Krishna mantra, attending Bhagavatam classes, coming in the association of devotees. There are five principles told. Chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, taking association of devotees, reading Bhagavata, worshipping the deities, and residing in holy dham. Therefore, if we keep on doing these things, then there is no question of fall down. So what Prabhupada is explaining is whatever Prabhupada Arjuna's mood is there, Prabhupada is explaining that, continuing with that particular thing. But for devotees, these prayashchitas may not be required because ultimately we are leading a mode of goodness or a mode of transcendental goodness. Therefore, falling from that position becomes difficult, right? If one is sincerely falling, getting up early in the morning at 4:30, attending full morning program, right? Chanting of Hare Krishna mantra very nicely, following four regular principles, uh, uh, nicely leading his life under the instruction of Guru, then for 99% or it is 100% guarantee that you will not fall down. So if it doesn't fall down, then there is no question of prayashchitta at all. Prayashchitta is for one who has fallen down or who is not able to follow the principles properly. For them, there is prayashchitta.
okay, Prabhuji, but this is for devotees, na? But for non-devotees, they're like they perform some sinful activities, then again they do atonement, and they again just like Prabhupada gave example of church also, na? The church they confess their activities and they again do the same.
Yeah,
But
so we know the ultimate thing, but for them all these things are not known. So if somebody does karma kanda, so he will go to a karma kanda guru. So if he does sinful activities, what will the karma kanda guru tell him? Do this prayashchitta, do this prayashchitta, do this prayashchitta, right? So that will maybe release him from that may give him happiness or this thing for some point of time, but it will not, because what will happen? Prabhupada tells in even in Nectar of Devotion you study, what will happen? The seed of sinful activity is not removed from the heart. This prayashchitta, consider that an elephant takes bath and he again goes and rolls in the mud, right? Again comes and does sinful activities. Why? Because the person does sinful activity, atones, does sinful activities because the seed of sinful activity, the tendency to do sinful activity is not removed. But for a devotee, what happens is knowledge is given. As long as a person is in ignorance, right? So the cause of sinful activities is ignorance. But what our acharyas do, they remove the cause of the sinful activities. They remove the ignorance. They have given us Bhagavatam. Prabhupada has given us so many lectures. There are so many Bhagavad Gita, so many scriptures are there. So the root cause of sinful activities, right? Ignorance is destroyed. So as soon as that is destroyed, the root is removed. So the entire tree of sinful activities is destroyed. And then we have been given a life of a devotee's life, a life of devotion is also given. So because of that, we are safe. But for the outside people, all these things are not known. The ignorance, the right, what is that? The knowledge about Krishna is not given. Knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam is not given. So therefore, they are in ignorance. Therefore, they atone, they do sinful activities. They do atonement, they do sinful activities. But for us, everything is very nicely given by Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
so just like adding comment, like like it is for like other people's, like at least they should not go to the hell. So by performing this, at least they will go to the upper planets and perform some good acts.
By doing pious activities, they will be elevated to higher planets. Yes.
Yeah.
But one has to understand that by doing pious activities, the sinful acts are not destroyed. Yes, Roji, Abhishek too.
Prabhuji, in case of Ajamila, recently I'm reading this, Prabhuji, like in the case of
voice
Ajamila.
network seem
Now,
to
Prabhuji, now
network.
it's audible, Prabhuji.
Yeah, now you can ask question. Little slowly.
Okay, Prabhuji. In the case of Ajamila, Prabhuji. Okay. In the case of Ajamila, Ajamila was very good and practicing religious.
Type the question, Prabhu. Type the question and give in the chat. Yeah, I'm not able to hear. In the meantime, please type the question, Abhishek Prabhu. We are not able to hear. I'll ask Prashit Prabhu to ask the question. Prashit Prabhu.
Prabhuji, why in this purport 1.40 it is called that
Like,
women
yeah,
are less intelligent? Because they
Hmm?
are why women are called as less intelligent in this purport?
Who is calling them less intelligent?
Chanakya Pandit.
So because it is then it is made there what is that the constitution is such that they are less intelligent too. Why they are called less intelligent means what? It's the constitution, the way it's whatever the constitution is there, it is basically why they're called as less intelligent is because administration cannot be given in their hands, right? Even if we say Chanakya Pandit says women is less intelligent, even it tells that we should not ever what is that? We should not trust a woman and a politician, right? So this is what is told because it's their constitution that they're not less intelligent. They will not be able to take decisions. If you even if you see now, if somebody has studied the psychology of women, it is in psychology it comes. It is we can clearly understand that they have less discrimination power, right? They cannot be discriminate between what is good and what is bad. So when this same question was asked to Prabhupada by Mataji devotee and Prabhupada disciple, Prabhupada told that if you identify yours, because we are anyway spirit souls, correct? So if you identify yourselves as a woman, then these qualities will be ascribed to you. But if you are anyway spirit soul, you are practicing the Krishna consciousness. So all these qualities cannot be ascribed to a practicing devotee, right? Women are less intelligent, women have less discriminating power, they should not be trusted. These may be the qualities of women. But when Prabhupada asked this question, Prabhupada told that because you are spirit soul and you are practicing devotee, these qualities will not be ascribed to you, or these qualities will not pertain to you. That is what Prabhupada explained.
Okay.
So these are all coming from the Shastras. These are men have certain qualities, women have certain qualities, right? We cannot change that. Men have certain qualities, women have certain qualities. Men are meant for a particular cause. If you ask questions that why men only can perform deity worship, why only they can do deity worship, they are meant for that. That is what is mentioned in the scriptures. That is what is mentioned in our Vedic scriptures. Men have a certain duty, women have a certain duty, right? So there is no point asking question about why these duties are mentioned because they are mentioned they have come from the scriptures, right? Where Krishna knows better what a man should do, what a woman should do. He knows better. The scriptures knows better. So they have given us certain rules and regulations. If you follow that, we will be happy. If you do not follow that, what will happen is what is happening in the present society? There is chaos. There is Varna Sankara. Men are not happy. Women are not happy. Nobody is happy. Why? Because we are not following the rules and regulations of scriptures. So, intelligent person, what he does, he understands how I can apply this in a life. He takes shelter of Guru, that how I can apply this in my life. I am a man, what I am supposed to follow. I am a woman, what I am supposed to follow. I am a Guru, what I am supposed to do. I am a disciple, what I am supposed to do. So these things we should understand and we should try to apply it in our life, right? So these are all basic truths that they are there, right? We cannot deny them. If we deny them, we will not be happy. We cannot be peaceful. But if we accept it, and if we apply it in our life, we will be happy. Men will be happy, women will be happy, children will be happy, everyone will be happy. So when the scriptures tell that women are less intelligent, women are this, women are that, there are certain qualities told for men also, right? So what we should understand that neither I'm a man, neither a woman, I'm spirit soul, right? So I should try to become a good devotee and try to lead my life under instruction, right? I should have a guru in my life, right? So that is very, very important. And take guidance. Guidance is very, very important as long as we are there in Kali Yuga. Is this clear, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Anushka Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanasana. Prabhuji, my question is, you said that we can take help of astrology so that we can choose better occupation. But Prabhuji, like in Kali Yuga, we see that there are so many astrologers and whatever they predict, that is exactly opposite to what has already happened in our life. So how do we find who is the actual Vedic astrologer and how much should we rely on them?
There are good astrologers. If you try to find, you will get. There are good astrologers. If you take help of good devotees, there are devotees who are good astrologers. If you take help of them, you will find them, right? So one thing is when astrology has to be when we should go to take shelter of astrology, when consider that we are facing a lot of crisis, something is happening what is not expected, what we are expecting in our life, or some there is a lot of problems that are happening, or something is happening very very pratikula, it is going in opposite direction only, then we can take shelter or we can consult astrologer. But if things are going on smoothly, then you can there is no need. But there are good astrologers, right? And you can consult one, two, three astrologers, and you can match your life and accordingly follow. You may not get 100% result, because anyway it is told that we have heard stories that astrologers saying that because you are taken shelter of guru and because you are practicing Krishna consciousness, it may not be 100% always correct what they are telling. But basic, like for example, if you want to, if a child is born, if his name has to be given, if his kundli has to be done, right, birth chart has to be prepared. So for that we need a good astrologer. So that anyway we can find out, we will get. That is not an issue. That is not a big thing, because it's not that Kali Yuga will not find good astrologers. There are good astrologers. They are there.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully this solves the questions. We will go ahead with second chapter. Yeah. Contents of Gita summarized, chapter 2. So Arjuna submits to Lord Krishna as his disciple, and Krishna begins his teachings to Arjuna by explaining the fundamental discussion between the temporary material body and the eternal spiritual world. The Lord explains the process of transmigration, the nature of selfless service to the Supreme, and the characteristics of self-realized person. Right? So why this chapter is called as Contents of Gita summarized? Because what Krishna is giving a purview or a preview of the entire Bhagavad Gita. In the entire Bhagavad Gita, what is discussed? Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. Karma Yoga is discussed till in the first 6 chapters. Jnana Yoga is discussed in the 7th chapter to 12 chapters. Or Bhakti Yoga is discussed in 7 to 12 chapters, and Jnana Yoga is described from 13 to 18 chapters. So Krishna is giving a capsule, or Krishna is giving a little preview in this particular chapter. Therefore, this is called as Contents of Gita summarized. And also Lord Krishna is going to give an analytical study of matter, right? He's also going to explain, he's also going to give analytical study of matter in this chapter. And also Krishna speaks about Sthita Prajna at the end of the chapter, right? So therefore, this chapter is called as Contents of Gita summarized. So we'll go to text 1. So now in the last sloka, what Sanjay told is that Arjuna has his mind has been overcome by grief, right? By lamentation and grief, by lamentation and distress. Therefore, what Arjuna has done is he sat on the chariot, and he has kept aside his bow and arrow. So therefore, Dhritarashtra must have become very happy, right? That Arjuna, the main warrior, right? The main warrior whose charioteer was Krishna, is himself telling that I don't want to fight the war, and he has become completely dejected and he doesn't want to fight. But Sanjay is telling, stop, don't be very happy that you are going to win the war. Your children or Kauravas are going to win the war. There is Puri Bhagavad Gita abhi baki hai, right? So no need to be so joyful. So therefore he starts speaking these verses. Continues speaking the verses. So Sanjaya uvacha tam tata kripaya vishtam ashtrupurna kulekshanam vishidantam idam vakyam uvacha madhusudana. So what Sanjay is telling that now Arjuna is sitting on the chariot, and what is his condition, that is what Sanjay is explaining. Tam tata kripaya vishtam, right? Overwhelmed with compassion. So kripaya vishtam means compassion. So Arjuna has become overcome with compassion, but on the material plane. So tam tata kripaya vishtam ashrupurna kulekshanam. Ashru, right? Tears, purna kulekshanam, right? His eyes is filled with tears. So he is overwhelmed with compassion. His eyes are filled with tears. Vishidantam idam vakyam. He is lamenting now. Vishidantam idam, right? Vishidantam means he is lamenting, and vakyam means he starts speaking. He is overwhelmed with compassion. His eyes are filled with tears, and in a lamenting condition, right? He starts speaking. Uvacha Madhusudana. He spoke these words to Madhusudana, right? So tam tata kripaya vishtam ashtrupurna kulekshanam vishidantam idam vakyam uvacha Madhusudana. That is, seeing Arjuna in overwhelmed with compassion, his eyes filled with tears and in lamenting condition, and having heard speaking Arjuna in the previous chapter all the words that Arjuna spoken. So what Madhusudana, that is the killer of the demon Madhu, what Krishna speaks now. Krishna starts speaking in this chapter. That is, seeing Arjuna overwhelmed with compassion, his eyes filled with tears, and seeing Arjuna lamenting, Krishna starts speaking in this chapter. Uvacha Madhusudana. Sanjay said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudana, Krishna spoke the following words. Yes, purport. Somebody can read the purport. Yes, Sundar will book.
Material compassion, lamentation, and tears are all signs of ignorance of the real self. Compassion for the eternal soul is self-realization. The word Madhusudana is significant in this verse. Lord Krishna killed the demon Madhu, and now Arjuna wanted Krishna to kill the demon of misunderstanding that had overtaken him in the discharge of his duty. No one knows where compassion should be applied. Compassion for the dress of a drowning man is senseless. A man fallen in the ocean of nescience cannot be saved simply by rescuing his outward dress, the gross material body. One who does not know this and laments for the outward dress is called a Sudra, or one who laments unnecessarily. Arjuna was a Kshatriya and this conduct was not expected from him. Lord Krishna, however, can dissipate the lamentation of the ignorant man, and for this purpose the Bhagavad Gita was sung by him. This chapter instructs us in the self-realization by an analytical study of the material body and the spirit soul, as explained by the Supreme Authority Lord Sri Krishna. This realization is possible when one works without attachment to fruitive results and is situated in the fixed conception of real self.
Yeah. So now in this shloka, actually in the previous chapter, we can see that Arjuna was actually bewildered of what was his duty, and his being a Kshatriya, he was supposed to fight. So he was bewildered about that duty only. Therefore now Krishna, who is Madhusudana, who is the killer of the demon Madhu, so Arjuna wanted that Krishna kill his misunderstanding or the bewilderment that has caused him to give up his duty. So Arjuna wanted Krishna to kill this thing, particular misunderstanding. Therefore, here Sanjaya is speaking, or Sanjaya is addressing Krishna as Madhusudana. Yes. Text 2. So now in this particular Bhagavad Gita, Krishna starts speaking. Krishna spoke briefly that please see the army that has assembled. Krishna spoke briefly in the first chapter, but now Krishna starts addressing Arjuna. Krishna starts speaking for the first time in this chapter. Krishna starts addressing Arjuna and starts instructing Arjuna, and Arjuna further asks questions or further presents his last argument, indecision, that I'm confused, I cannot fight, and then finally Krishna starts speaking the Bhagavad Gita. So Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Kutastva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samupastitam Anaryajustam Asvargyam Akirtikaram Arjuna. So Krishna is now severely chastising Arjuna. They're telling that Kutastva Kashmalamidam, from where has this impurities come upon you, Arjuna? Vishame Samupastitam. Now is the time of emergency. There is crisis. The battle has to be fought, right? Everybody has assembled in the Kurukshetra battlefield to fight the war. And at this time of emergency, at this time of crisis, where has this impurity come? Where you are presenting all these arguments, right? Anarajustam asvargyam. The words that you are speaking does not befit a civilized man. The act that you're doing, you have kept aside your bow being a Kshatriya, it does not befit a civilized man, and it will not take you to Swarga, because Kshatriyas, when they fight, they will be elevated to the heavenly planets, right? So you being a Kshatriya and you are decided to fight here, so this does not befit a civilized man, and this act of yours that you are giving up your duty will not take you to Swarga, whereas what it will do, it will bring you infamy only, O Arjuna. So, whereas this impurity come upon you in the time of this emergency, and this act that you are doing does not befit a civilized man, it will not take you to Swarga, Aswargyam, and Akirtikaram Arjuna, it will bring you infamy only. Yes. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the values of life. They lead not to higher planets but to infamy. Right? So basically, the purport is little long. So I'll just basically Prabhupada is explaining about Bhagavan. Prabhupada takes the word Bhagavan and Prabhupada is explaining on this only that Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Bhagavan means the possessor of 6 opulences. Right? Parashara Muni explains the word Bhagavan. Bhaga means opulences and Van means possessor of these 6 opulences, right? So one who possesses these 6 opulences of wealth, knowledge, beauty, renunciation, right? Strength, and one more thing is there. So these opulences anybody possesses in full, right? Bhagavan in full is said to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? So Prabhupada explains that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead because of the possessor of these 6 opulences. Further, Prabhupada tells that explains on this shloka, Vadanti tattvavidas tattvajnanamadvyam brahmeti paramateti bhagavan eti shabdete. The absolute truth is realized in 3 phases of understanding by the knower of the absolute truth, and all of them are identical. Such phases are of the absolute truth are expressed as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. And further, Prabhupada explains this, taking the example of sun, which we already discussed in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita, right? And further, what is that? So here, if you see, here it is mentioned the Supreme Personality who possesses all riches, right? All strength, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, and all renunciation is called as Bhagavan, right? So there are many people who possesses some of these opulences. Somebody may be rich, somebody may be strong, somebody may be famous, somebody may be beautiful. But why is Krishna called as Bhagavan? Krishna is called as Bhagavan because he possesses all these qualities in a single person in full. 100% of these qualities are present in Bhagavan. Therefore, he is called as the Supreme Personality Godhead by Parashara Muni, right? Also, in the Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahmaji quotes this sloka, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana, right? There are many personalities possessing the qualities of Bhagavan, but Krishna is the supreme because no one can excel him. He is a supreme person and his body is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. He is the primeval Lord Govinda and the cause of all causes. Right? Prabhupada states Vadanti Tattva Vidas, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Further, he states, quotes the sloka of from Brahma Samhita, spoken by Lord Brahma. And finally, spoken by Vyasdev, that is written by Vyasdev in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.128, that in the Srimad Bhagavatam 3rd chapter, Vyasdev writes the different incarnations, that is Purusha avatars, Leela avatars, and finally he tells that of all these avatars, ete chamsa kalaha pumsam, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So out of all these avatars, Krishna is different. Krishna is not an avatar, but Krishna is the avatari. Krishna is the source of all incarnations. So he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead and he's the source of all incarnations. So therefore, Prabhupada focuses this particular purport on explaining about Krishna as Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, right? So this is what is explained in the purport. We'll move on to the next verse, text 3. So text 3, Klaibyam masmagama partha naitattvayupapadyate kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tektvotishtha parantapa. So now Krishna is telling that give up this weakness of your heart and start fighting. So what Krishna is telling? Klaibyam masmagama partha. O Partha, give up this degrading impotence, right? So you are a Kshatriya, you are not meant to speak these words. So give up these words that you're speaking, give up this particular act that you're doing because it does not befit you, right? Naitatvayi upapadyate. It does not suit you because you are a Kshatriya, you are already defeated Indra and Shiva, so it does not suit you. Shudram hridaya dharbalyam. Give up this weakness of heart. And what is the weakness of heart here? Arjuna did not want to fight, right? Arjuna was a Kshatriya, right? He's supposed to fight. He cannot tell that I don't want to fight because of all these reasons, because he's Kshatriya. So therefore Krishna is telling that give up this weakness of heart and tektvo tishta parantapa. Wake up, rise and start fighting. It's like this, that consider that you are prepared for 3 years or 3-4 years, you are prepared for a particular exam. So 3 years or 2 years, whatever. You're given a lot of time in preparing the exam, and now today is the day for that examination. and you are telling that no, I don't have my mind is not telling me to write the exam. Are you're prepared, you're given 1 year, 2 years for writing exam, and now you are giving such a simple reason or such a silly reason for not to fight. So similarly, now Arjuna, they are prepared, both the parties are prepared for fighting and they have assembled, and so many things have happened. And at this point of time when the war is supposed to happen, what Arjuna is giving? Arjuna is giving all these invaluable reasons or silly reasons for not to fight, right? So therefore Krishna is telling that this is weakness of heart, give up this weakness of heart and start fighting, right? Similarly, in our life also, we can also have weakness of heart wherein we are supposed to perform a particular duty, we are supposed to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, follow four regular principles, but because of a weakness of heart, because of our contaminated mind, sometimes we may not want to perform those activities, right? But we should understand, taking guidance from the Bhagavad Gita, taking guidance from spiritual masters, we should understand that we should perform those duties, and it is every day, nitya karma, it is those duties should be performed every day. So we should give up the weakness of heart and we should perform those duties, right? O son of Prita, do not yield to this degrading impotency, it does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy. Yeah, somebody can read this purport.
Arjuna was addressed as the son of Pritha, who happened to be the sister of Krishna's father Vasudeva. Therefore, Arjuna had a blood relationship with Krishna. If the son of Kshatriya declines to fight, he is a Kshatriya in the name only. And if the son of a Brahmana acts impiously, he is a Brahmana in the name only. Such Kshatriyas and Brahmanas are unworthy sons of their fathers. Therefore, Krishna did not want Arjuna to become an unworthy son of a Kshatriya. Arjuna was the most intimate friend of Krishna, and Krishna was directly guiding him on the chariot. But in spite of all these credits, if Arjuna abandoned the battle, he would be committing an infamous act. Therefore, Krishna said that such an attitude in Arjuna did not fit his personality. Arjuna might argue that he would give up the battle on the grounds of his magnanimous attitude for the most respectable Bhishma and his relatives. But Krishna considered that sort of magnanimity mere weakness of heart. Such false magnanimity was not approved by any authority. Therefore, such magnanimity or so-called non-violence should be given up by persons like Arjuna under the direct guidance of Krishna.
Yes, right? So Krishna tried to inspire Arjuna by speaking these two verses, but that did not inspire Arjuna to give up his weakness of heart, and he has further doubts because he will give the fifth reason not to fight, that is indecision or confusion to fight. Therefore, now Arjuna starts speaking further verses that we will discuss in tomorrow's class. Okay, so we'll stop here. So already we have taken question and answers. If anybody has one question, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll stop here. Yes, Purushottam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, in text 2 purport it is written as all the six appearances can be claimed for only Krishna, not even Brahma, Shiva and Narayana. Brahma and Shiva are demigods, so
Where is that? Where is that? You're telling?
text 2 above this sloka, Ishvara Parama Krishna, above
Yeah.
Brahma Samhita.
So there are many persons who are very rich, very powerful, very beautiful, very famous, very learned, and very much detached. But no one can claim that he possesses all riches, all strength, etc. entirely. Only can Krishna can claim this, because what can Krishna claim? That he possesses all these in full. Only can Krishna can claim this because he is Supreme Personality of Godhead. No living entity, including Brahma, Lord Shiva, or Narayana, can possess opulences as fully as Krishna. Yes. So what is the question, Prabhu?
I had a doubt that Lord Shiva and Brahma, they are demigods, Prabhu. But in case of Narayana, so how doesn't he possess all these six qualities? He possesses, I think, 64 qualities, if I'm not wrong. So
full, entirely.
Okay.
100%. They have these opulences, right? If you see, they have these opulences. Narayana is beautiful, right? But not as beautiful as Krishna. Full. He is anyway Lakshmipati. The opulences are there, but not as full as Krishna. Therefore, Krishna is called as Bhagavan or Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
So this is entirely, all opulences, 100% quantity. That is Krishna.
Okay.
Yes. Anything else? If somebody has question, otherwise we'll stop here. We'll meet in tomorrow's class. Abhishek Prabhu, you had one question. I had asked you to put in chat. I think you have not put that. Okay, I think his question got resolved. So we'll stop here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Roji.
Sorry, Prabhu. I don't know if this question really fits well or not, but how can you understand what is the full limit of Krishna's all riches and all those opulence? That
You read Bhagavatam, you'll read Bhagavatam, you'll understand what Krishna has created, such great, magnificent universes. If you read the construction of the universe, how it is created, how Brahmaji was created, you will understand what is the opulence of Krishna. Therefore, Prabhupada has given us Bhagavatam. We need to read that. If you read, we'll understand how, if you read Krishna book, if you read the 10th canto, if you read how this universe is created, how magnanimous it is, how it is created in detail, so many things are created. There is the 4 Chaturvyuvas, and then there is Mahavishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Kshirodaksha Vishnu. Then there is what is that, from Mahavishnu's pores, that is bodily pores. There are, from each pore there are millions and millions of universes coming out, and in each universe there is Garbhodaksha Vishnu, right? And from that Garbhodaksha Vishnu there is Brahmaji coming, right? And each and every living entity is heart, there is Kshirodaksha Vishnu. So much intelligence, so much detail. Why Krishna is doing all this thing? Because this living entity, myself, wanted to independently enjoy and go away from Krishna and come to this material world. So this all planning is for one living entity like me. So that much detail Krishna has, so much intelligence Krishna has, right? Wealth, he is Lakshmipati, right? It is told in Vrindavan, each and every dust particle in Golok Vrindavan is, what is that? It cannot compare to the wealth of Vaikunthas, correct? So much wealth, right? So wealth, beauty, Krishna is the most beautiful person, right? The topmost exalted women of the Golok Vrindavan are getting attracted to Krishna, but Krishna does not have little attraction for them. That is his beauty and that is his renunciation. And even though is Krishna he's a supreme personality of Godhead, but he's ready to wash the feet of the guests in Rajasuya sacrifice. Such renunciation, such great renunciation. He's a supreme personality of Godhead. He's ready to become the charioteer of his devotee, right? Wherein his devotee has to kick him. If the chariot has to go on the right, he has to kick on the right shoulder. If it has to go on the left, he has to kick his left shoulder. Who is ready to take such a menial position, right? Krishna, who is the supreme personality of Godhead, is crying for Radharani's mercy, right? There is so many pastimes. So who is ready to do all these things? That shows his renunciation. So all this, by understanding all these things, by reading Bhagavatam, by hearing lectures, we can understand what is the limit of Krishna's opulence. Okay, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thanks a lot.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So we'll stop here. So we'll meet in tomorrow's class at 11 o'clock. Hare Krishna.